Hello and welcome to the section 1 on Create.js. In this video, we're going to talk about tweening objects using TweenJS. We're going to learn how to tween an object and test various types of tweening. We'll do this by using the circle we've created in video 2. If you recall, in video 2 we've created this circle. We're going to start off by removing the stage update command. This is because TweenJS has its own way of refreshing the stage. Now we can use Create.js's ticker class, which is used to set the frames per second you want to use in your app. So first of all, we're going to set the frames per second to 60. Create.js.ticker.setFPS, and we're going to set it to 60. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to add an event listener, which is going to listen to the tick event that the ticker class dispatches. Each time this event is dispatched, we're going to update the stage. So we're going to use create.js.ticker.addEventListener, and we're going to add the tick event, and we're going to set the target of this event listener to the stage. If we'll refresh the page, we'll see that the circle still appears even though we removed the staged update, meaning the ticker class is working fine. So we're going to start off by adding a simple tween. We're going to write create.js.tween.get, and now we're going to name the object which we're going to use the tween on. In this case, the circle. After this command, you're going to need to add 2, which will be the endpoint of the tween. So we're going to do a simple tween, which is going to change the alpha property of the circle to 0. So we're going to write 2, and we're going to open curly brackets, and we're going to list the property which we want to change, which is alpha, and list the endpoint as 0. We're going to also add an additional parameter, which is the time in milliseconds, which represents the time Create.js takes to perform this tween. So we're going to write 3 seconds, which is 3000 milliseconds. Now, if we test the page again, you can see that the circle slowly disappears. Now, in addition to changing the alpha property, we'll also change the x property. So we're going to add it to the curly brackets as an additional parameter. We're going to list the endpoint of the x property to 400. If you recall, the start point was set by us to 250. So after the tween is over, the endpoint should be 400. Let's test it again. As you can see, the circle still disappears, but now it also moves on the x-axis. Another property which you can use in the tween command is the easing property. The easing property allows you to set different types of easing, which controls the intensity and speed of the animation. For example, we're going to test the elastic easing, and we're going to write create.js.ease.elasticin. If we'll refresh the page, we can see that the circle animation now has easing added to it. In the Create.js website, you'll be able to see all the types of easing which you can use. Now we're going to add a new parameter to the get function. We're going to add the parameter loop in curly brackets, and we'll set it to true. When we add this parameter in the get function, the entire tween will loop indefinitely. Let's go back to the page and see its effect. As you can see, the animation loops over and over again. Every time it reaches the end of the tween, it starts over again from the previous start point and starts the animation and plays it until the end. The tween method is chainable, so you can add more and more to calls to it, and they'll be added to the tween. So for example, we have the original 2, which sets the alpha to 0. and the X value to 400. Now we're going to add a toCall, which sets the alpha value to 1 and the X value to 100. We'll set the time to 1.5 seconds. Now, when we test the animation, you can see the animation contains the toCalls which we've added to the twin. So as you can see, you can add more and more toCalls, and they'll be added at the end of the previous toCall. Now, for example, let's change the ease of the first toCall to elastic in-out and add it to the second twin as well. You can see that the animations now blend in smoothly. Congratulations, now you know how to twin objects using TweenJS. In the next video, we're gonna learn about loading graphic assets using Preload.js.